Good morning. My name is Scott Finley. Along with Thina and Jenny, I'll be one of your service creators on this Sunday morning. I'm glad you're with us today. Our theme for December is stillness. And paradoxically, Thina, Jenny, and I spent a lot of time talking about how to bring stillness into today's service. We hope for you to find peace and connection in our time together. And now let us worship. While Sandy lights the chalice, I'll read Let This Be a Place of Silence by Barbara Stevens. Let this be a place of warm and gentle silence, the silence that soothes and comforts the wounded, the silence that yields insights into heart and soul, the silence that calms, the silence that listens, the silence that speaks, the silence that renews. Let this be a place of warm and gentle silence. Although we are still physically distancing, know that GNUUC is here to support you. Reach out to our minister, Reverend Cynthia Kane, by email, call, or text. As we prepare today's service on stillness, we realize that stillness does not mean silence. There might be chaos whirling around us, and yet we can hold stillness in our heart. So it is with our covenant. We may grow frustrated with each other or the world, and yet in our hearts and connections, we still hold this covenant to be true. Please join me in reading the words on the screen. We covenant together to make a welcoming community, to walk together in the way of truth and love, to seek the life of the Spirit as it is known by each person, to support each other in thought, word, and deed, as we work to build a better world.
Please join in singing our gathering hymn, Find a Stillness, and let the peace of the music wash over you. In our discussions about today's service, we realized how much each person has to find their own stillness. This video gives one perspective on reaching out with loving arms to the swirl of thoughts and emotions that can sometimes overwhelm us. Enjoy Puppy Mind.
Puppy Mind by Andrew Jordan Nance. Illustrated by Jim Dirk. To your puppy mind, please be kind. My mind is like a puppy, it likes to wander and explore. If I don't watch it carefully, it goes through any open door. When my puppy mind is bored, it runs to the future and the past. If I'm not really careful, it will take me far away super fast. My puppy mind can dig up memories, like when I get yelled at for not sharing my things. My mind scampers to the future, and I don't always like the pictures that it brings. In class, I try to listen to the teacher, but my puppy mind starts to stir. I quickly lose my focus, and the day becomes a blur. I get mad at my puppy mind. Why don't you just sit and stay? When I yell, my puppy mind gets scared and hides or runs away. My puppy mind only heals if I take 3 slow deep breaths. If I do it often enough, I feel calmer in my chest. Taking 3 slow breaths is the best way to train my puppy mind. I am learning to be my mind's best friend. It responds best when I am kind. So whenever I feel my puppy mind tugging at my sleeve, I try to remember to breathe and breathe and breathe. If I practice breathing every day and remember to be kind, I will have more fun being with my best friend, my playful puppy mind.
And now for our Share the Plate for this month, Nancy has agreed to share some information with us about the UUSC.
Okay. I think I'm unmuted. Yes, our December Share the Plate partner is the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee Guest at Your Table program. GNUC has been participating in the Guest at Your Table program since our earliest days. The UUSC mission is to advance human rights and social justice around the world, partnering with those who confront unjust power structures and mobilizing to challenge oppressive policies. The work is grounded in the belief that all people have inherent power and dignity. So supporting UUSC is a great way to put our UU faith into action. The theme for this year's Guest at Your Table program is the meaning of home. The pandemic has given many of us new appreciation for and concerns about the places we call home. This year during Guest at Your Table, I invite you to witness stories of UUSC's partners around the world as they tell you about home. Although we won't be taking home Guest at Your Table boxes to keep on our dinner tables this year, we can still share our guests' stories of hope. UUSC partners in Central America are working to make sure no one is forced to flee their home due to violence or economic devastation. Partners in Alaska, Louisiana, and the Pacific are fighting for their homes in ancestral lands against the ravages of extractive industries and climate change. And partners in Burma, Bangladesh, and beyond are working tirelessly to support the rights of the Rohingya Muslim ethnic minority of Burma after facing government-backed genocide in their homeland. They are all fighting for their right to home in one way or another. May their stories inspire you to give generously to the UUSC as our December Share the Plate partner. You can find a link to the Stories of Hope in the eBlast announcement about Share the Plate. And please remember that although the UUA and UUSC occasionally collaborate on projects such as urgent appeals for humanitarian disasters, the UUSC receives no funding from the UUA. They really depend on donations from individual UUs. So any amount you can give will qualify you as a member of UUSC and be very appreciated. Now, here's a video from Mary Catherine Moore, President and CEO of UUSC.
UUSC has spent 80 years serving communities facing injustice. We invite you to join us as we move deeper into the work of advancing human rights across the globe. Our world is crying out for us to face and address challenging, complex, and intersecting human rights issues like climate justice, dehumanizing and deadly immigration policies, and the criminalization of people because of their identities. At UUSC, the heart of our work is a commitment to partnerships rooted in trust and respect. With our partners, we strive to affirm the worth and dignity of all people by advancing human rights and dismantling the systems that oppress people. The lifeblood of our work is the support of our members. Building collective power is the work of every person of faith and conscience. We need your support to strengthen movements for justice. Together, we are building a better world that respects every person's inherent worth and dignity. To join our Text to Action team, please follow the instructions below. It takes all of us to build a better world.
Thank you so much, Nancy. And for those who might be newer to GNUUC, I think it's really cool to know that Mary Catherine Moore has been in our sanctuary and actually was there on the day we, blessed our sanctuary in the beginning?
Dedicated the building.
Dedicated the building, exactly. And she was Chris and my minister before we moved to Nashville up in Virginia and told us, oh, you're going to find a great UU community in Nashville. And she was right. As you can see on the screen, there are multiple ways to donate to GNUUC and to Share the Plate, whereas Nancy shared this month, it's going to UUSC. And please be aware, your donations are doing so much good right now. And thank you to those of you that have dedicated years of donations to GNUUC, or maybe this is your first time making a donation. It truly, truly matters. And now our music in preparation for our homily on Stillness, Love is the Water by Brother Sun.
You say your heart's been turned to stone. You say you wanna be left alone. You say love only made you weep and moan. Let me tell you something that you know in your bones. That love is the water that wears down the rock. Love Love is the water that wears down the rock. I said, love is the power that won't be stopped. Love is the water that wears down the rock. You say your soul's like a dry riverbed. Stopped waiting for the water long ago. You said you better pray all night for the rain instead. Love comes like a tidal wave over your head. Love is the water that wears down the rock. Love is the water that wears down the rock. Love is the power that won't be stopped. Love is the water that wears down the rock. You say waiting for love takes too long. Dulls a sharp mind, weakens the strong. Well, you may be right, but you may be wrong. 'Cause love can make a mountain come tumbling down. Love is the water that wears down the rock. Love is the water that wears down the rock. Love is the power that won't be stopped. Love is the water that wears down the rock.
Take a deep breath. The deepest breath you've taken today. And know that you are surrounded by people who care for you. In preparation for today's service, we researched Quaker meetings. As you may know, a Quaker meeting is not led by a single person. Instead, at the beginning of each meeting, a question is posed for consideration. The members, meaning the participants, sit in contemplation together, each in their own thoughts. If anyone is moved to do so, they share the contemplations with all the members, then return to thoughtful stillness. In a few minutes, we'll experience this same form of deep worship together. We'll pose a question for consideration and release it into the stillness. Now, when we talk about stillness today, we don't necessarily mean quiet. You could find stillness in the middle of chaos. For example, if you've ever sat quietly and watched a thunderstorm through a window, you have experienced this. There is passion and movement and chaos in the storm, yet you find yourself in calmness. Your internal voice can be loud and clear, even as the world swirls around you. Likewise, a stream can be still and serene, but it is not silent. Even in our own bodies, there's plenty going on while we meditate in stillness. Heart pumping, blood surging, joints speaking. We have a covenant for this portion of the service to offer all of us a safe and loving place to be. Reach as deeply as you can into the sacred center of your life. Speak out of the silence and leave a period of silence between speakers. Speak from your own experience about your own experience. Concentrate on feelings and changes rather than on thoughts or theories. Do not respond to what anyone else has said, either to praise or to refute. Listen carefully and deeply to what is spoken. Expect to speak only once until everyone has had a chance to speak. In just a second, Jesse will ask everyone to unmute. And then, as people feel led to speak, you may. If the dog barks or the children talk, it's okay. It's all part of our lives. Rest assured, all will be well. We may find that no one is moved to share, and that's fine. Find your stillness. Contemplate the questions. Love your puppy mind as it leaps and jumps. And if you are moved to share, we are here with you in loving, peaceful space. Share your truth. Thank you for being brave as we experience this new opportunity together. And so, our questions for contemplation. What is the role of stillness in your life? Has stillness changed in this year of difficulty and chaos?
I invite you all now to unmute. You have the ability to unmute yourself. I invite you to unmute and remain in silence.
I find stillness in biking through or walking through the woods with my friend Jewel.
Stillness has changed for me during this year. I was still at the farm and I learned to listen to the birds and to listen to the water, to listen to the wind. I didn't have any kind of outside noise to bother me. And since I have sold the farm, I'm stuck in town. When I was still, I wasn't content to be still for forever. I missed the noise. From my den, I can sit and listen to the traffic on the interstate. I listen to the racing at the fairgrounds. I hear fireworks. I hear all manner of things. I've learned to bring back into the city the things I learned at the farm. I turn off the television.
In the wintertime, when the leaves are off the tree, I have a train that come through. And when the train whistle, my dog howls. In the wintertime, when there's no leaves on the tree, I can hear the fire engines going down Highway 96. So it's always kind of interesting what's happening out there. But there is a stillness around the house, but something somewhere. People are doing something.
Stillness for me has always been an important part of my life. It means mental health. It means the ability to accept the chaos around me and still be able to think and do what I might need to do, but to not do it, which is often more important. It has not changed during this year, and if anything, it has become more important.
It may not sound very logical, but I actually find my deepest and most profound stillness when I'm listening or surrounded by music. Probably no surprise to many of you. I just find that if it's a piece that speaks to me, I can only listen to that, and my mind can actually be clear of any other thoughts and problems that I may be experiencing. One of my favorite quotes about music, I believe, was Mozart, and I won't get it exactly, but he said, "The power or the beauty of music is not in the notes, but in the silence between."
I don't typically do well with silence and stillness myself. I tend to fill up the space with movement and noise as much as I can. And in this year of craziness, it should be more pronounced for me, as I live alone and I am alone, but somebody's giving me feedback. I have a 5 puppy mind, and you would think this year it would be better, but it's actually a little worse for me. Being here, I'm finding ways to fill up the space and having trouble trying to be still.
I like to listen to the radio all day long. It keeps me company and makes me not feel quite so alone in my home when I'm by myself all the time. And I really enjoy all of the radio programs that NPR puts on. And I find that stillness really doesn't do anything for me, because when I don't have anything on to listen to, my thoughts sometimes go to dark areas. And so I enjoy having a radio. I think that was one of the greatest things that was ever invented.
I find stillness when I'm busy doing something I enjoy, where I lose all track of time. Like an activity where my mind stops thinking about alternatives or being somewhere else or doing something else. I'm just totally peaceful.
I find when I can truly find that inner stillness, that truths come out for me. That often during the day, since there's so much hustle and bustle around me, it's hard for me to concentrate, and I'm just moving more out of habit than anything else. But when I can truly get to that point of internal stillness, and that's usually when I'm creating art or I'm involved in the water in some way, either kayaking or swimming or even taking a shower or a bath. But I find that this very quiet voice speaks loudly and deeply to me, and I can make good decisions after that.
One of the gifts. One of the
I find that by watching our pet cat, Tamusha, whether she's playing or napping, it just my focus to her and brings me kind of a calmness, maybe that she projects.
One of the gifts of this time has been. Oh, you keep yours in.
I'll go. I, in spite of the fact that I've been retired for several years, I don't have, most days don't have a lot of hustle bustle in my life. I do have a very active puppy mind, and most of the time I don't have a sense of stillness or calm or focus. And one thing that has changed for me over the summer, not really related to the pandemic or being confined to home, is I've started feeding the community cats that live just down the alley from us. And I find having that obligation every day, knowing that they're kind of counting on me, it's comforting to me. And it's also a situation in which I try not to have any like expectations about, well, am I going to tame them? Because they let me get very close to them while they're feeding, and they're only semi-feral, I think. So, I try to fight my own expectations about what will happen. And it's really just try to make it all about them. Some days I go out there and I don't see them at all. I just leave food and water. And that's just been very grounding experience for me since July.
One of the gifts of this time in our house has been the elimination of travel to and from work. We've gained hours over the course of our week together. Jesse and I will sometimes sit outside in the evening at dusk, looking for the space station, going by, looking at other satellites in the dark. And after he's walked in, I'll sit there for a little while longer, try to hear the sound of the stars. I know they're making noise. It just doesn't reach us through the atmosphere. And instead of the stars, I'll occasionally hear coyotes in the distance, living out their lives, perhaps completely unaware of how so much has changed for so many other animals on the earth.
Watching orchid growing, watching orchid blooming, watering orchid. Always I feel the stillness. Lately, about 5 o'clock in the morning, reading a promised land. This great stillness.
As we talked to prepare this service, Sina said to me, "Do you not have stillness?" Because she and Scott both had such great insights to share, and I didn't. And I'm finding it very hard to sit here with what's bubbling up. So this is an area I need to look at. And I'm so grateful for all of you. Oh, I'm not supposed to respond. Anyway, that's all.
As I ponder, I'm finding that there are different levels and nuances of stillness and of quieting the puppy mind for a little bit. I'm remembering something I read once, that a piece of fiction writing is sometimes a description of an emotion that cannot be described in any other way, has no name except that piece of writing. And I'm finding that is true of good film and TV shows as well. I'm finding that good writing can take you into a feeling that you experience wholly and quiet that puppy mind for a bit. or for me anyway, and I come out with fresh perspective when it's over. There's a different stillness, and stillness I get from distracting the puppy mind with instrumental music at the nurse's station at work, and a different one than I get from doing my morning ritual. And I wonder if that's why we have all the arts and all these different practices, because our inner life needs different kinds of stillness at different times.
Thank you for the wonderful sharing and insight you each offered. I hope each one of you found it as much of a blessing as I did. I feel so much closer to everyone who spoke today, and so much closer for everyone who didn't speak today as well. Let us take a collective deep breath as we listen to It Is Well.
When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul, with my soul. It is well, it is well with my soul. It is well, it is well with my soul.
Now is the time in our service when we share those concerns or joys that have come upon us over the last week. Jesse, our Zoom host, will now turn off our YouTube stream